Good morning everyone. I hope you all are fine and safe. In the last session, in this chapter, acid, bases and salts, we have studied about the bases, right? Then we have studied the general characteristics of bases. I told you about when acids reacts with carbonates, then it liberates carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Then I have told you about the displacement of hydrogen atom from acids by metal atom. Okay. So all these topics we have studied in the last session, right? Now today we are going to start a new topic, that is alkalis. Then we will study neutralization reaction, salt found in nature. Okay, then test for acids and bases. So all these topics today in this session we will complete, and today we will complete this chapter. Got it? So let's begin this. What are alkalis? So listen here. Soluble bases are alkalis. What are alkalis? Soluble bases are alkalis. Okay, those bases which are soluble in water, that bases are called alkalis. Got it? Only soluble bases. But listen one thing, not all the bases are soluble in water. Only few or some bases are soluble in water, and only that bases are called alkalis. Got it my point? For example, like calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, okay, like NaOH, KOH, okay, sodium, potassium, okay, calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice, okay. So all these bases are soluble in water. All these bases are soluble in water. So we say that these are alkalis. Got it? Because these bases are soluble in water, so that's why they are also called alkalis. Got it? Okay, some bases are not soluble in water, like magnesium, iron hydroxide, okay, like magnesium, NaOH whole twice, okay, iron hydroxide, iron 3 hydroxide, FeOH whole twice, okay. So these bases are not soluble in water. These are not soluble in water. Okay. So these bases are not soluble in water. So we say these are not alkalis. Got it? These are not alkalis because these are not soluble in water. But these bases are soluble in water, and these are called alkalis. These bases are soluble in water, and that's why they are called alkalis. So those bases which are soluble, they are called alkalis. Those bases which are not soluble, they are not called alkalis. Got it? They are not called alkalis because these are not soluble in water. Got it? So listen one thing. All alkalis are bases. All alkalis are bases. But come to this. Listen what I am writing here. Remember this line. All alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. But all bases are not alkalis. But all bases are not alkalis. So you have to remember this line. Understood? All alkalis are bases. Alkalis are those bases which are soluble in water. So all alkalis are bases because bases are the substances which are soluble in water, and that we call alkalis. Right? So all alkalis are bases. Clear? Because base is soluble in water, that are called alkalis. So we say that all alkalis, because alkalis is what? That base which are soluble in water, right? So all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis because all bases are not soluble in water. Only some bases are soluble in water. Got it? So we will not say that all bases are not alkalis. We will not say that all bases are alkalis. We will say that all bases are not alkalis because all bases are not soluble alkalis. Clear? This line says that all alkalis are bases because base if soluble in water then that are called alkalis. So all alkalis are bases but all bases are not alkalis. I hope these two lines are clear to you all. Got it? Now come to the next topic, that is neutralization reaction. So let's begin this. Now come to the neutralization reaction. Now come to neutralization reaction. Okay, I told you about this water neutralization reaction. When acid react with the base or base react with the acid, it gives salt and water, and this reaction is called neutralization reaction. Why it is called neutralization reaction? Because acid neutralize base and base neutralize acid. Got it? And they form a neutral substance, that is salt. Got it? So this is called neutralization reaction. For example, like acid, hydrochloric acid. I have written here the formula of hydrochloric acid. So when acid, hydrochloric acid, HCl is reacting with the base, for example like sodium hydroxide, NaOH. Got it? What it gives? It gives salt, NaCl, sodium chloride, okay, plus water, H2O, salt and water. So when acid react with the base or base react with the acid, they neutralize each other and they give as a product salt and water. Clear? So let's some more example like H2SO4. Okay, sulfuric acid when reacted with the calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice. This is also a base, right? And we say that this one is also a alkali because this base is soluble in water. Got it? This base is also soluble in water. So when this acid react with the base, or you can say when acid react with this alkali, you can say na, because this is soluble in water. So when sulfuric acid react with the base, it neutralize each other. Acid neutralize base and base neutralize acid, and it gives salt and water. What salt it will give? It will give calcium sulfate, CaSO4, okay, and water it will release. Clear? So hope so that these reactions are clear to you. Next is given here like sulfuric acid when reacted with the potassium hydroxide, hydrochloric when calcium hydroxide. So let's see this one also. When hydrochloric reacted with the calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice. Here I have reacted the sulfuric acid with the calcium hydroxide. Here I am reacting the hydrochloric acid with the calcium hydroxide. Okay. So when this acid reacted with the calcium hydroxide, what it gives? It gives calcium chloride. Calcium chloride is also a salt. Okay, CaCl2 and plus water as a byproduct come out. Got it? Next, when sulfuric acid is reacted with the potassium hydroxide, so I am writing here. Okay, sulfuric acid when reacted with the H2SO4 when reacted with the potassium hydroxide, KOH. This one is also a base. Okay, and this one is acid. When they react with each other, it gives a neutralization reaction, and as a product, it gives salt and water. So what salt it will give? Potassium sulfate, K2SO4 plus water, H2O. Got it? So these are the some reactions. As an example, I have shown you here that these are the neutralization reaction. When acid react with the base or base react with the acid, it gives salt and water. So these are called the neutralization reaction. Okay, I hope this one is clear to you all. Now come to the next topic, is salts found in nature. So salts found in nature. Okay, so salts Okay, found in nature. So salts mainly found in nature. Okay, it is in abundance. It is present in the earth crust, in the form, in the soil, in the rocks. Okay, and the salt is present in the sea, oceans. Okay, so salts we are getting in nature from earth crust. Okay, it is present in the soil in the form of rock, it is present, and in sea water it is present. Okay, so like bromide, chloride, okay, iodide, these salts are present in the rock. Okay, like sulfates of sodium, potassium, calcium are present in the sea water. So these salts we are getting from nature. Okay, so occurrence and of salt is given here in table 7.4. okay, just see here, page number 67, table 7.4, salt like sodium chloride. Okay, occurrence where it is found, where it is occur, we will get this sodium chloride in the form of rock. Okay, rock of common salt of sodium chloride. Okay, rock of sodium chloride, or you can say rock of common salt we are getting from the earth crust. Okay, and from that rock we are derived the common salt that we are using in our daily life, in our food. Okay, okay, then sodium nitrate. Okay, sodium nitrate we are getting, saltpeter is a salt. Okay, actually it is a rock. Okay, a white color rock. Okay, woolly crust on the soil. So in the soil it is present in just big particle, it is just like this. Okay, then potassium nitrate, like nitrate, a white woolly crust on the soil. This one is also present in the soil. Okay, then calcium carbonate, that is also called a limestone. It is present in all the soils. Okay, limestone rocks. Then calcium phosphate in phosphate rocks and in all the soils. Okay, then potassium aluminum silicates, then in all the soils. Then in china clay, mica, and all these things they are present, we are getting, or they are occurring. Got it? So this 7.4 table you have to remember. Now come to the next, that is uses of salts. So uses of salt, table 7.45, sorry, table 7.5 it is. So this is the homework. You have to read thoroughly this table 7.5, because it is given here the uses, like sodium chloride where we are using as a flavoring agent in food. Okay, then we are using the sodium chloride in the manufacturing of washing soda, baking soda. Okay, then hydrochloric acid. So these uses you have to read at home. Remember one thing, that formula of gunpowder. Okay, potassium nitrate we are using in making the gunpowder, in making the matchstick. Okay, and formula is C plus S plus KNO3, that is carbon plus sulfur plus potassium nitrate. Okay, so formula of gunpowder is gunpowder carbon plus sulfur plus potassium nitrate KNO3. Remember this. Okay, so potassium nitrate, this is the use of potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate. Okay, potassium nitrate. So potassium nitrate we use in making the gunpowder, and formula of gunpowder is C plus S plus KNO3, carbon plus sulfur plus potassium nitrate. Got it? So like this you have to study. Plaster of Paris formula is calcium sulfate, and then water H2O. So this is the CaSO4 plus H2 dot H2O. Okay, so this is the formula of plaster of Paris. So you have to learn these formulas. Got it? These formulas you have to learn. So like this you have to study all the things, all the uses of salt. Okay, table 7.5. So this is your homework. You all have to read, study thoroughly this table 7.5, and whatever the formula is given in this table you have to learn. Okay, now come to the next topic, that is testing for acids and bases. So let's begin this topic. Okay, so testing for acids and bases. testing for acids and bases. Okay, so as I told you earlier that we can test, for example, we have two solutions, okay, and we don't know which one is acid and which one is base. How we will test for that? We will use a indicator, right? A substance which tells that whether our solution is acidic or basic. Got it? So we test acid and base by a substance that is indicator. We say that is acid base indicator, or you can simply say that is indicator. Okay, so indicator is a substance which tests for acid and base, or which tests that whether our solution, our substance is acidic or basic, or acid or base. Got it? So this is what the indicator is. So now, as I told you that one indicator I told you, that is the litmus indicator, right? So litmus indicators, like litmus indicator, some more indicator is there which tells or which indicate that whether our substance is acidic or basic. Like litmus is one, then phenolphthalein, methyl orange. I think methyl orange is not in your syllabus, you will study in the further classes. So litmus, phenolphthalein, and then red cabbage juice, okay, then turmeric. So all these are the indicator which tells that whether our solution is acidic or basic. Clear? So let's study one by one. For example, like litmus. First one is litmus, the common laboratory indicator. Commonly we are using litmus in the lab to test acid and base. So litmus. Come to the first indicator, that is litmus. Okay, so as I told you that litmus is an indicator, and litmus we are getting from a lichen plant. Okay, so this litmus from where we are getting? We are getting from lichen plant. Okay, then it is a symbiotic plant, as I told you earlier in our previous sessions. Okay, so litmus is an indicator. Okay, and this litmus we are getting from a lichen plant. Now, litmus we are extracting from this plant in a form of solution. Okay, so litmus we are extracting from lichen plant in the form of solution. Okay, now this litmus solution tells that whether our substance is acid or base. Okay, what you have to do? For example, you have a litmus solution. Okay, you have a litmus solution. Okay, now take two test tube, and in one test tube take acid and another take base. Okay, now if you want to test that this how it works, so just take a litmus solution and take a dropper. With the help of a dropper, drop few drops of litmus solution in acid and in base. Okay, this litmus will change. This litmus solution is actually a colorless solution. Okay, and then when you drop this few drops of this litmus solution, when you add in this acid and bases, okay, this is one is acid, right here, acid, and this one is base. So when you will add here in acid and base, okay, so this acid will turn into red in color. Okay, when this acid turns into red in color, that means this solution is acidic. So when you add this litmus solution in any substance, that solution which we don't know, okay, and you are adding the litmus solution and it turns red in color, that means your solution is red. That means the solution is acid if it turns red in color. Okay, if your solution turns blue in color, okay, it turns blue in color, that means your solution is base. So base, if base is there, so the base turns the litmus blue in color. Base turns the litmus blue in color. So if you don't know, for example, you have a solution and you don't know whether your solution is base or acid, so what you have to do, you have to add a few drops of litmus solution in that, okay, and your solution if turns blue in color, that means your solution is base. And if your solution is turned red in color, okay, if your solution turns red in color, that means your solution is acid. Okay, so this is what about the litmus solution. We are making litmus paper also from this litmus solution. What we are doing, we are taking a finger size paper strip, okay, and then just soaked this paper, finger size strip paper, soaked in litmus solution, okay. Then dry that paper, and after that when you will use that litmus paper, dip this litmus paper in these solutions, okay. Then the same work it will do, means that litmus paper also turns, means if red litmus paper is there, then red litmus paper will turn blue color, okay. It turns the base in blue color, and the blue color litmus paper will turn the acid in red color. Got it? So litmus paper, the same work it will do what the litmus solution is doing, okay. Litmus paper, red litmus paper turns base blue in color, okay, and this acid, okay, so blue color litmus paper turns acid red in color. Got it? Blue color litmus paper turns acid red in color, and red color litmus paper turns base blue in color. Red color litmus paper turns base blue in color. Clear? So remember this. Now come to the phenolphthalein. The next one is phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein is a colorless chemical solution. Okay. So come to this phenolphthalein. The next indicator, that is phenolphthalein. Okay, so come to this phenolphthalein. So phenolphthalein is also an indicator. It is a chemical solution. It is actually a colorless chemical solution. Okay, this one is a colorless chemical solution. And what it do, when you will drop this phenolphthalein in acid and basic medium, okay, then the base is turned pink in color. Okay, that indicate that a solution is basic. If the solution is turned pink in color, that means that solution is basic. Okay, so when you will add, for example, you have two solutions. You have two solutions in test tube, and you don't know which one is acid and which one is base. So add a few drops of phenolphthalein in both the test tube. If the solution, for example, this one is turns pink in color. Okay, this turns pink in color. That means this solution is base. This one is base. Okay, and it remains colorless. It will not change its color. Okay, so that means our solution is acid, because acid doesn't change the phenolphthalein in any color. Okay, it remains colorless. So it remains colorless. So this one is clear. Now come to another one is, that is the household indicator, that is turmeric and red cabbage juice. Okay, so turmeric and red cabbage juice. Turmeric and red cabbage juice. Household indicator it is. Okay. Okay. So turmeric and red cabbage juice. Okay, turmeric change base in red to brown color. Okay, in dark red or maroon color. Okay, and acid in yellow color. Got it? So turmeric change base red to brown color. Okay, and acid in yellow color. Got it? Turmeric, if you will add turmeric, or if you want to test whether a certain acid or base by using a turmeric indicator, so this is a thing you have to remember. This is the color change you have to remember, that if the color changes red to brown color, that means your substance is base. Okay, and if your substance changes yellow color, that means your substance is acid. Okay, by adding turmeric indicator. Okay, next is red cabbage juice. Okay, so red cabbage juice. In this red cabbage juice, acid turns red and base turn green in color. Okay, so red acid turns in red color and base turns in green color. Got it? If your substance turns by adding red cabbage juice, if your substance turns green color, that means your substance is base. Okay, and by adding red cabbage juice, your substance turns red in color, that means your substance is acid. That means your solution or your substance is acid. Clear? Okay, so I hope these things are clear. You have to remember the color changes, okay, because only by this way we can indicate or we can test that whether our substance is acidic or basic, okay, or find out or recognize that whether our substance is acid or base. So this is an indicator through which we came to know that our substance is acid or base. So using these indicators. Okay, so identifying acidic and basic household substances. Okay, so this table 7.6, as some substance we are using like bases and acids we are using in our daily life. Okay, so here are given some substances that we are using in our daily life. Let's see which one is acid and which one is base. Like bathroom acid. Okay, bathroom acid we are using in cleaning the tiles and toilet seat. Okay, so that bathroom cleaner, okay, is a acid compound. In that hydrochloric acid is there. Okay, so bathroom acid is acidic. Then vitamin C tablet, in that ascorbic acid is there. Okay, lemon juice, orange juice, tomato juice, vinegar, as I told you, vinegar acetic acid is there. Okay, in tomato oxalic acid, orange lemon juice, then citric acid, ascorbic acid is there in these two things. Okay, then fizzy drink like colas you are drinking na, that cold drinks, and that also the acid is present. Okay, and that's why that is very harmful for our health. And soda water, so in fizzy drinks carbonic acid is present, that is H2CO3. Okay, in fizzy drink carbonic acid is present, that one is also acidic. Then basic, that is alkaline, so like milk of magnesia, toothpaste, soap solution, detergent solution, washing soda, slake lime. Okay, white wash, all these are base. Then come to the pH scale, that is very important. Listen very carefully about this. Okay, then after that our chapter will be finished, and today I will give you the exercises also to do that. Okay, so do in your copy, and remember whatever I told you, how to write the reactions in the same manner, in the same format you have to write in the copy. Okay, don't write wrong. So come to the next topic, that is the pH scale. Okay. Okay. What are pH scale? So listen here. By an indicator, we came to know that our substance is acidic or basic. But we don't know that how much our substance is acid or basic. For example, we have test tube, in both I have given you acid. Okay, in both acid is present. Okay, but I didn't tell you that which one is more acidic and which one is less acidic. How you will find out? How you will find out that both are acidic, but which one is more basic and which one is less acidic? So you will use for that the pH scale, and that's what the pH scale is telling. That pH scale tells that our substance is how much acidic or how much basic in nature. Clear? Okay, so for that we are using pH scale. Okay, so what are pH scale? Listen here. pH scale is ranging from 1 to 14, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and then 14. Okay, 7 is neutral. If you keep decreasing the pH from 7, then that acidic character is increases. Okay, so acidic character increases. If you keep increasing the pH, your basic character increases. Okay, so this is the pH scale. So this is the pH scale. Okay, this pH scale tells that how much are substances acidic or basic, or if we have two acidic or basic solutions or substance, then by this pH scale, by using this pH scale, we can tell that this one is more acidic than the other. Clear? So 7 is neutral in the pH scale. This 7 number is pH equal to 7. If pH equal to 7 is there, that means our solution is neutral, just like water. Water is neutral. Okay, it is neither acidic nor basic. Okay, if we keep decreasing in the pH scale, like from 6 to 1, okay, if pH is equal to 2, that means our solution or our substance is more acidic. Okay, if our pH is 13 or 14, that means our solution is highly basic, or you can say that highly concentrated. It can harsh or very harmful. Okay, so this is the pH scale. So how we will measure in lab? In lab, we will get a paper of a strip in which it is given there the number or the color. Okay, by that we came to know that our solution is how much acidic or basic. Okay, in figure 7.6 it is given there. You can see, okay, that if pink color is coming, that means our substance is more acidic. Okay, that color tells that how much our solution is acidic or basic. Like if light green color is coming, okay, that means pH is equal to 7. Light green tells that pH is equal to 7 and our solution is neutral. Clear? So by this pH scale, we came to know that how much is our solution is acidic or basic. Clear? So this chapter is completed. Whatever I told you today, revise that. Okay, all the reactions formulas, learn it, and whatever the doubt occur, you can ask me in the live session. Okay, I have given the exercises also, so that you have to do in your copy. Clear? All the question answers. Short answer question only I have given, not long answer question and extra question I have given. So short answer and extra question you have to write in the copy.